Hey everybody, welcome back to another review of Married at First Sight. This is season 13. This is episode 14. Title episode is Country Chaos. This episode was good. It was chaotic and it was ridiculous. I didn't take any notes because it was pretty memorable. Well, some of it was. It primarily focused on Michaela and Zach were the whole show, with Brett and Ryan bringing up the secondary, and everybody else was just also there. So I'm going to start out with the least important and go up to the most important stuff. They were at a couples retreat. So I'm gonna just get into it. They're all at a couples retreat together, so it's all the couples. So it's hard to tell it without just saying couple by couple, just all this stuff was happening. But I'm gonna start with Jose and Rachel. They were there. Jose and Rachel, I don't think they did anything significant. I know they talked and Rachel was like, at least we're not like the other couples. Like, we got problems, but we ain't got this shit they got going on. And that's it. Jose with his booty mouth, and Rachel, they were also at the retreat as well. Jose made some grilled chicken for everybody to eat, and they ate tacos. Moving on, our next couple is Johnny and Bao. They were also there. Bao had an epiphany when she was talking to the other ladies. She had an epiphany, which I'm proud of her. I was proud about this whole episode. Because Bao was like, you know what? You don't like me? Fuck you. She didn't put up with Johnny. She didn't even talk to him. They didn't really interact. But she had an epiphany. She said, growing up, her parents been married for like 30 years or whatever. She was like, and she remembers, they've been married for like 50 years. She said, and she remembers that it was rough sometimes. And she saw the way her dad talked to her mom. And she said that would never happen to her. She would never let a man talk to her like that. And she saw herself letting Johnny talk to her like that. And she was like, young me would have never let this fly. Older me is wrong for letting this go. So she was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with Johnny. And she was done with Johnny. She kept fucking with him. She kept going at him. Anytime he said something, she called him a drama queen. Because he was being very dramatic in everything he did. And she was just like done with it. She was like, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy myself. Fuck a Johnny. And that's what she did. And she was right, because Johnny didn't care about her. So why would she care about him? They weren't sharing the apartment together. Johnny kept going home. She was just enjoying herself. Even when they got there, she was like, you need to find somewhere to fucking sleep, Johnny, because you ain't sleeping with me. And, the thing that I did not like with Bao, and I'm mad at her, I'm mad at Ryan, I'm mad at the fucking show. When they went skeet shooting, Bao, Johnny, Brett, and Ryan all went skeet shooting. Bao has never shot a gun before. She had a shotgun. It looked like a 20 gauge or something like that. Not nothing that's or like a 22 gauge. It was a shotgun for shooting skeet. I can't think of what gauge that is. It wouldn't kill a man, but it would fuck you up. But she was reckless. She had no supervision, no guidance. No one was showing her what to do. I think Brett told her, like, hey, here's the safety, here's the trigger. That was it. No, Ryan, because Brett didn't want anything to do with it. Ryan was showing her he wasn't. And she was she was pointing the gun everywhere. Now, I'm not a gun enthusiast, I'm not a gun nut. Like, I own a gun, but I had my share of guns in the military. I didn't get a passion for them or nothing like that. I just know how to use them, and I know how to safely use them, but everything Bao was doing was not safe. None of it. Not a single fucking thing. She literally pulled the trigger. The gun didn't fire. So she put the gun down, like, what is wrong? And the damn gun went off. She wasn't even aiming at nothing. The gun was just going off. She kept waving it around, pointing at everybody, trying to figure out, and nobody did anything. I was sitting here watching it, and I was like, what the fuck? I was having a panic attack. Why? Like, what the fuck is the gun safety out here? Where is any kind of safety? I don't know if I can be mad at her or the people who let her do that. But it was reckless as fuck. And completely wildly out of line. And it should have never been allowed to fly. It was ridiculous. It was fucking ridiculous. Later, her and Johnny was like, they had come to terms, like, they're not going to make it. This is over with and done with. Because she didn't give a fuck no more. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't want to be with her. And she was like, you're not going to just treat me any kind of way. And Johnny just didn't even argue with it. He was like, he knew he was treating her bad. So he was just like, yeah. So that's it for Johnny and Bao. Next up, Myrla and Gil. They were there. They were fun. They were like the best couple there. Myrla and Gil, they were without question the best couple there because their interactions were always playful. You could tell that they really enjoy each other's company. Like, nothing dramatic happened with Jose and Rachel, but you could tell like they don't enjoy each other as much as Myrla and Gil. Myrla and Gil have fun together. And they're just talking. Myrla didn't want to be there. She wanted separate cabins. She didn't want to be in one place with some people. She's never done that before. She's never had roommates or anything like that. She didn't want to share bathrooms. But Gil was like, he was all for it. He was like, this is something I would do with my friends all the time. And he's like, this is nothing to me. And he lives in a fire station, so it's him and a bunch of people sharing a space all the time. But Myrla is not one for sharing space. She wants her own space. They went horseback riding, and now this was weird because you would have thought that the whole country thing around animals and all that stuff, Myrla would be not for, but she was really into it. But she said she grew up like this. She started riding horses when I think she said she was 9 years old. So she likes riding horses. And she was teasing Gil because Gil says, Gil is afraid of horses. But he's like, my wife likes it, so I'm going to do it with her. And I don't think people... And she was teasing him the whole time about how he got a little healthy fear of horses. Because he was a little scared. He was a little nervous, you could tell. He didn't really want to do it, but he was doing it anyway. Whereas Myrla was having a good time. And I don't blame Gil. Gil looked like he was bigger than a damn horse. He looked like they gave him the smallest horse in the world because Gil's a big dude. And you saw him messing with Myrla because she was complaining, but it wasn't nothing serious. I didn't feel like it was anything serious because she didn't seem to have a problem with it. She actually said she wants him to tell her when she's doing stuff, when she's complaining, and she will try to adjust. She would hear him and try to adjust. I forgot what she said she would do, but it was something like, it was cool. And he started messing like, I like their teasing each other back and forth. Some people probably get offended by it or think it's cruel or mean. They seem to enjoy it. And I get sick of the producers. You can tell that Gil is being prodded to say stuff about Myrla. Because when he talks, it's like he's reading stuff off a script. Or someone's holding a cue card up in front of him and he's just reading that. My wife really complains about stuff a lot. And it's really starting to bother me. It's stuff I have to think about on decision day. It's like it's not something that he's saying. Because you've heard him talk. But look at his confessionals sometimes. It's like he's reading. Because when he talks, it's way more relaxed and loose. He's being prodded to say stuff. You can tell. You can just tell. If you look at it, he's really being prodded to say stuff during confessionals. And Gil and Myrla were just They were great. They really were. Nothing they've done is even at the same level of what's going on here. Uh, Brett and Ryan. See, the thing is with Brett and Ryan is that now it's kind of reversing to where Ryan is trying and Brett ain't. Whereas before, Brett was trying and Ryan wasn't. And you see it in the car when she tells her, I didn't mention in my last review, I should have, I don't know why I forgot, but Brian's sister kind of told him, when he came back to Houston, he got distracted with other people. So he wasn't paying much attention to you. And Brett brought it up. And Ryan took offense to the fact that, how did that even come up that I was seeing someone else? And she's like, no, not necessarily, but you're just distracted. Like somebody has your attention besides me or besides what's going your marriage. And Ryan he was genuinely offended by that. And I don't think there was much truth to it. I think he just, I don't know. I can't figure it out. I can't figure him out at all. He seems weird. He seems like, not weird, like something's wrong with him. Like whatever's going on in his head, it's custom to him. It's hard to figure it out because he seems genuinely hurt when because Brett starts going like, you know what, you don't like me, dude, that's fine. But then he's like, but I do. Like, shit. And he tells her that, my actions do more than my words. But you see throughout that that's not the case. Like his actions say he doesn't like her. And his words say he does. So she was like, so which one is it? Is it your actions or is it your words? And I like that Brett, she confronted him the whole time they were there. Whereas he was trying to start over or do something new. He was like, because when they got there was nowhere to sleep. There was only enough rooms available for the couples. Which I'm sure there were more rooms, but I know production has to have room to themselves too. So, she was like, where are you going to sleep? And Ryan was like, no, it was Brett, Ryan, Johnny, and Bao. There was only one spare bedroom. And Bao was like, well, Johnny's not sleeping with me, so he needs to find somewhere to sleep. And there's one spare. And Ryan was like, well, I'll just sleep with Brett. And Brett was like, excuse you? Why would you think you just sleep? We're not sleeping together at home. Why would we just sleep in the same bed here? And Ryan was just like, I just thought. I don't think he meant anything malicious by it. I don't think he meant anything wrong. I think he just wasn't thinking. He just like, oh, it's no big deal. I'll just sleep with Brett. And Brett was like, no, the fuck you won't. Which was true. And I think he was talking to Zach and Guild and the other guys later. And they brought up, why would you think it would be different? If y'all don't sleep in the same bed back at the house, why would you do it here? What would be different? Nothing. There's nothing different. And Brett asked Ryan later, why would you even think that? Where did that come from? And he was like, I'm just trying to be an adult, we're sure. I don't think he meant anything wrong about it. It wasn't nothing. It was just, he was like, oh, it's no big deal. But that's what he was thinking. But Brett was like, it is a fucking big deal. So it was something that he just probably didn't put any thought to. And when he was challenged to put thought to it, he was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Probably just a knee-jerk reaction or expression. But Brett confronting him threw him off big time. Even though that's what he asked. She said, you tell me to call you on your shit. I call you on your shit and you shut down and you just run away. So what do you want me to do? And Ryan doesn't have an answer. He's talking about she's making a scene. That was not a scene. Us sitting here calmly, quietly having a conversation is not a scene. He would see a scene later. I think, and it's shocking how Ryan seems so hurt. It's like it seems like he doesn't like her or care, but when she says something, when she says something to him, he is hurt. His feelings are fucking hurt. And it's like, why? It's like, how did this happen? I think it bewildered Brett too. Like, I'm thinking this is what you want to hear, but it's clearly not. And Ryan is like, I'm not giving up. And I think the thing is, though, this is just my thoughts on it. Yours may be different. Is that Ryan is trying to not like Brett. He is working to not like her and not want to be with her. But he doesn't have any justifiable reason not to. It's like he's attracted to her. He likes her personality. He likes her attitude. It's like he likes her, but he's telling himself he shouldn't. But he can't justify why he shouldn't. There are things about her that he doesn't like her anxiety level, her aversion to stuff, but I think that's all superficial. It's not a big deal. I think the big issues they haven't even touched on yet. Because he's avoiding stuff. And the stuff that he's avoiding is superficial. He doesn't even want to get to the deep shit. They might have problems that got deep. He's just running from stuff that's superficial. You know, like her not like her, when they were skeet shooting, she didn't like loud noises. She's like, I don't like that. You know, and it bugged him. That's an activity that he likes that they can't do together. But I'm like, that's not a big deal. You can just do it by yourself or with your friends. You can go hunting without her wanting to come along. That's not a bad thing. That created a lot of shit you can do without the wife that people usually want to do without the wife. So I think that's ridiculous. I think that's superficial. That's him hunting for something to not like. But, you know, Brett was good. She was like, this ain't like, you need to figure some shit out, man. He really needs to get together with what he's trying to do, what he wants to accomplish. It's like he wants the marriage to, he is saying, I want the marriage to succeed, but his actions show he doesn't. But then right after his actions show he does, and his words say he doesn't. So he's confused as fuck. He's confusing Brett, and he's confusing me, and I don't know what the fuck going on with Brian. Nobody does. He's just being fucking weird. Next is Michaela and Zach. They had the whole argument about staying over. Zach was still pissed off from that. Because he said they hadn't spoken since that. They had just started speaking since that, which was like 3 days before this. And he wanted her to apologize. She didn't. And she didn't because he didn't. But he didn't feel like he was wrong, and she didn't feel like she was wrong. And Michaela said in the episode that both of them feel like they have to win. They both want to win every argument. No one wants to give an inch. Whatever you do, I'm going to do. Like, they're going tit for tat. She's like, oh, you think you tit? Let me show you this tat. They're really trying to just outdo each other. Who can fuck over who the worst? She doesn't like that. I think she is aware of it. I don't think he is even aware that that's what's happening. He thinks he's just doing the right thing. He is just as petty and childish as she is, except he handles it a different way, and she explodes. On the way to the resort, they stop at like a goat farm, and he starts calling her queen of the goats. I don't know how he thought that was cute. It seemed very insulting. Michaela just went along. She seemed like she didn't like it. But he kept doing it. Because she said, you know, she likes goats. She was feeding him. He was like, oh, you're queen of the goats. Look at you, queen goat. And it seemed so fucking rude and disrespectful. And she just didn't like it. She didn't say I didn't like it, but you can see on her face that, why are you fucking calling me a goat? But Zach didn't see anything wrong with that. So they went on to the resort. I think they got to the resort first. The couple's retreat area first. They got rooms and hats, and everybody else showed up. Later, after they go to bed, the next day, they're talking like on the porch. And apparently, during the night, they agreed to get a divorce. He was like, he wants a divorce. She wants a divorce. Let's just do this. We'll just get a divorce come decision day. But after decision day, after the divorce, they're gonna hook up again and see if it can work then. Didn't make a lick of sense to me. It didn't seem like it made much sense to Michaela, but she was like, okay. But then she was asking for clarification. Now, when Michaela was talking to Bao, I get to that later. Zach is like, I'm ready for marriage. I'm just not ready for marriage to you. And you can see, I'm watching it on TV, and I can see Michaela just went left. When he said, I'm ready for marriage, I'm just not ready for marriage to you. Being married to you is hard. I've been ready for marriage since I was 17 years old. I'm not ready for marriage to you. And Michaela said something that's very smart. She's like, so why, after the divorce, would you want to date me again? I'm still going to be the same person. I'm still going to be the same person. True. You're going to divorce me and then start dating me? And he was like, well, we get away from this situation, this scenario. We'll get away from the show. It won't be part of the show or this whole production. It'll just be us going on dates like regular people. Michaela was like, yeah, but I'll still be me. Like, I'm not putting on an act right now. I'm being real. She's being like, I'm being real. So the same me that's here on Married at First Sight will be the same me that's not on Married at First Sight. Zach wasn't getting that. He was like, yeah, he just kept saying the problem is you. I could do married, no problem. I just can't do it with you because I don't think you're that good at being married. Michaela flips the fuck out. And she runs off laughing because he is literally saying the problem in our marriage is you. You're what's wrong. You're messing it up. Michaela has every right to be pissed off at that. That was not the right way to express it. By flipping the fuck out is not how you express that you don't like what he said. She was in the right for her feelings. She was wrong as fuck for what she did. That's not mature, that's childish, that's complete lack of emotional control. So she's going off on him. God, what did she say to him? He was like, he flipped out. Because he doesn't look at Zach thinks he's perfect. He really does. What he just said to her was fucked up beyond imagination. But he doesn't explode. He's not yelling or screaming. He is saying horrible shit calmly and soothingly. And she is receiving that horrible shit wildly crazy. She is fucking. And so Zach is like, I can't do with this. I gotta go. And she's like, fucking go. Leave. Go do whatever the fuck you want to do. And Bao comes to talk to her. And from what Michaela tells Bao is that what he is saying now is not what he said when we were alone. When they were alone in the bed together, he was saying that, it's him. He said, it's me and it's you. We both are doing wrong in this marriage. We're both not getting it. But when they got around other people, he was like, no, I'm perfect. You're fucked up. That's why she flipped out. Because he was saying something now that he didn't say before. When they're in private, he puts blame on himself. He's like, I'm messing up. I'm not doing right. we're not vibing together because I am making mistakes and you're making mistakes. But when they're in front of the camera, in front of other people, he's like, no, I'm doing everything right. You're making mistakes. That's some bullshit. If it's true, that's bullshit. And Bao talks to her, tell her, keep working at it. I forgot what Bao tells her, but it was actually good advice. But they all, Bao and Michaela were giving advice. There was good advice, but coming from them, it was like, what the fuck? Y'all are in shit show. What the hell are you giving anybody else advice for? Because Michaela and Zach were saying at the dinner that they had before that, people should be more open and be more honest and be more truthful. And say how you feel, which is true, which is what fucking up Brett and Ryan. and Bao and Johnny. They're just not talking to each other. They're not telling each other what they're actually feeling. Whereas Myrla and Gil tell each other everything. Jose and Rachel talk, and Zach and Michaela talk, and they actually should shut the fuck up. Shit. Later that night, when they're going to bed, which is another thing that I thought was weird. Earlier, Zach and Michaela said Zach said he was going to sleep in the same bed with Michaela, even though they weren't back home. And she was like, why? He was like, well, God, I like sleeping in bed with you. She was like, you do? He was like, yeah, it's always fun. It's fun being in bed with you. And you can see how she took him saying that a certain way. Like, that's all I'm good for, is laying on my back. And I know that's how it comes across. For him not wanting to be in an apartment with her unless they're in bed together, for him only wanting to do this if they're in bed together, for him only wanting to be around her if they're sleeping together, they're doing something together, it's like he is subtly trying to say all you're good for is laying on your back. And Michaela has a right. She has every right to be like, that's bullshit. How she expresses that is fucked up. They're in bed the second night together, and I forgot how this shit even started. It started with Zach said he didn't like what Michaela had said. Because earlier, before they went to bed, they were playing a couples game, Most Likely 2. And they said that Myrla was most likely to want to leave. They did who was the most likely to be a drama queen. Everybody voted Johnny. Because everybody knows, because Bao was telling everybody Johnny is a fucking drama queen. She wrote Johnny with a crown on his head. Like, get that queen a crown. And everybody knows, it wasn't just, everybody knows Johnny is overly dramatic. They went most likely to have kids first. Everybody said Jose and Rachel, because they're all over each other all the time. Most likely to go to rehab. Everyone said Johnny. Everybody. Johnny was like, what the fuck? I guess he was making cocaine jokes or some shit the day before. But they said most likely to be petty. And everybody said Michaela. Michaela was like me. And she said, I'm queen fucking petty. And everybody was like, man. And Gil was like, Michaela, she'll take the fucking batteries out of the smoke detector just to fuck with you. She was like, yes. She was like, I'm queen petty. Zach didn't like that. That she not only said she's petty, she bragged about it. Like, she's happy to be petty. So that's how the whole thing started. Where he didn't like how she was reacting. But that was because of what Bao said. Just be yourself. Just be who you are. And he's either going to like you for who you are, or he's going to not like you for who you are. But just be you. And she's like, I'm petty. She's confrontational. She's argumentative. That's Michaela. And she told him, well, if you got a problem with it, you can just fucking leave now. Because she was like, I don't really want to ride back with you tomorrow. And Zach was like, I'm not going to leave you here. Okay, I'm not going to do that. And she was like, I will find a way home. You can leave right now. You can leave right motherfucking now. She started cussing him out hard right away. Because she was just sick and tired of him. And he was just afraid of her. And she was hurt. She was hurt because he doesn't accept her. And you can see it, but she just doesn't react. She doesn't respond to shit in good fucking ways. She is wrong as fuck for how she just reacts to stuff. She acts, it's so childish. It's like, you don't even see children. You see, my babies don't do this shit. I don't know. It's like she was doing it and she just gotten away with it because her family just covered up for it and let her do it for so long that now she just does it. And think other people should accept it too. And nobody else wants to accept it. But she tells Zach he can just fucking leave. And Zach says, you want me to leave because I'll leave right now. She was like, yeah, I'll call my sister and tell her to come and get me. And you can go. So you don't have to even worry about it. She calls sister. Zach gets on the phone with her sister and tells her, like, that's not what I said. She's telling me to leave. I don't want to leave. but I'm going to because I don't like how this is going. And Michaela was like, well, I didn't tell you to leave. He was like, you did tell me to leave. And she's like, no, I didn't. And they rewinded it 10 minutes ago and she was like, you can, no, she said, no, he said this, fuck, I'm getting confused now. He said, I will stay and take you back home. It'll be fine. And she was like, okay, I'm confused on what you were saying. I'll ride back with you. And then she was like, I don't want to ride back with you. Even though she had just said, I will ride back with you, I was confused and mistaken. And she was like, I never said I'd ride with you. And he was like, yes, you did. They rewinded it 10 minutes to when she said, I would ride back with you. So she did say it. She forgot what she said. I think she forgot how this whole thing started because she went off on a whole nother fucking tangent. Because it started with her telling him to get the fuck out. He can fucking leave. And then when he's like, you know what, I'm just going to leave. She's like, don't leave. Why are you leaving? You just told him to leave. And she is being childish. She is being petty. He has packed his shit. He is begging her, please let me go. Because this is going off the rails. And it's only going to get uglier if he stays. It is. It truly is. She's like, I'm worried about you. We're in the middle of the fucking woods somewhere. It's dark as fuck. There's no street lights. You're in one of these counties in Texas where you shouldn't be driving your black ass around in the middle of the night. And Zach was like, I'll be fine. I will call you. I will text you, let you know when I get there. It'll be okay. And she's like, no, I'm worried and I'm scared and I don't want you to leave. She is saying that and simultaneously saying, you need to get the fuck out of here. It was a shit show. Goddamn Bow with peeping through the door to see what's going on, being nosy as fuck. Everybody else is outside, but they can still hear it because they're screaming in the fucking house. Johnny is knocked out. He ain't heard none of this. Zach is leaving. Michaela is just throwing a fit. He's talking to Bow. So Zach starts talking to Bow and Brett outside. And they're telling him, like, dude, you shouldn't leave right now. We're way out here. There's no lights. It's a dirt road. Anything can happen. You know, it's like, it's not safe. Just wait and leave in the morning. Just sleep in one of these other rooms with one of us. And you'll be fine. And just leave in the morning. And they're getting to Zach. And he's like, you know what? You might be right. Whatever. He's listening to him. Michaela comes out like a fucking hurricane, tornado. And Zach like, nope, fuck this. I'm out. Shit. Because she is going off, man. She is going the fuck off. She has lost complete control. She has abandoned trying to control herself. And Zach is just begging her, please, Michaela, please let me fucking go. If he stays, it's only going to be worse. He is not with this. Nobody's with this. She starts yelling at fucking Ryan. Ryan, like, what the fuck you want me to do? He's leaving. He's a grown ass man. He's leaving because of you. Fuck. Shit. Okay, goes in the house. She's throwing shit. She flips that goddamn bench and don't miss a fucking step. She fucks a stool. Shit. She goes over, hits the pool table, the goddamn foosball table. She's breaking shit. Producers trying to grab her. She tearing somebody's goddamn house up. They're like, you can't be doing this shit, Michaela. She is irate. She has completely lost it. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't give a fuck. She told this man to get the fuck out. She told him you can leave right motherfucking now. He left right motherfucking now, and she lost her shit. The next day, or that night, Michaela goes and gets into bed with Bow, and she is just up all night, hurt and sad. She calls her sister comes and picks her up. So the next morning, Michaela and Zach are both gone. And Johnny is like, what happened? What did I miss? Shit. There was shit broken. fucked up, everything. And Gil says that, from what he understands, that they just had a very tumultuous situation. Whereas Michaela would say, do this, or Zach would say, well, do whatever you want, and then he would do whatever he wanted, and she would get pissed because that's not what she wanted him to do. It was a tit for tat thing, and Brett jumped in like, men do that too. And they're like, yeah, everybody does that. Both of them were doing that. They were both giving ultimatums saying, I don't fucking care, do whatever you want. It was just bad, but they both had different approaches of doing it. Zach was petty one way, Michaela was petty another way. Zach's petty was just stupid, but it wasn't violent or yelly or screaming, which is what Michaela's was. Zach's was just like internet trolling, and Michaela was like real world violent. So, and they say, we're just 8 of us now. And then I think Brett said, it started with 8. Because those two weren't for the honeymoon. So they didn't make it they weren't at the honeymoon together. They weren't at the fucking retreat together. They never even got a chance to get started, really. Shit. Because of COVID. Goddamn COVID. So everybody leaves and they go down the road to a petting zoo, I think is what it was. Mirla loves it. I don't know why she loves animals so much. But she doesn't like dogs. She's like, well, I don't like dogs, but she likes goats and fucking sheep and cows and shit. But she wasn't a big fan of dogs, but she seemed like she's having a good time. And she seems like she really likes Gil. And that's when everybody has their little wrap it up talks. Brett and Ryan have their wrap it up talk, like, what are we doing? And Brett's like, what? I don't know what the fuck we're doing. And Ryan's like, yeah, I don't know either, but we're not that. Basically, everybody was like, man, thank God we ain't Zach and Michaela. Bow and Johnny were like, yo, we got problems, but holy shit, it ain't that. Jose and Rachel were like, we've been through some stuff. We didn't been through that. Because that's not I don't think that's even new for Zach and Michaela. That's probably just something they've been doing this whole time. We just haven't seen it. That's the thing I find most frustrating about Married at First Sight, is that there is so much that happens that you don't see. Because they're recording people for like hours a day, every day, and we get maybe 15 minutes of what's going on per episode of each one of them. And everybody always refers to stuff off camera that happened. Because they're not just married on camera, they're married off camera. Even Gil and Marla, nobody knows how they got so close. Nobody knows how Michaela and Zach were always into it. It was always something. With Bow and Johnny, there's always something that we're missing. And so much stuff is edited that you really got to look at it to see whole conversations pieced together like they were from moments throughout an entire day, were pieced together into like a few seconds of dialogue. If you look at how people are standing, what's going on in the background, how the conversation is flowing, you're like, they took probably 2 hours of shit and made a 10-second blurb out of it. You can't trust anything on this show, really. But some stuff is just obvious. Like Michaela and Zach. Or even Brett and Ryan. It's obvious what's going on there. Even if not to them. Mirla and Gil is kind of confusing, but it looks nice. Jose and Rachel, whatever. Johnny and Bao, not a chance in hell. They're done. And pretty much everybody was like, we're done. Like, Bao and Johnny were like, this ain't gonna work, we're done, but let's not get to that. Brett and Ryan, this might not work, I don't know where. Ryan wants it to work. He's like, I'm gonna keep fucking trying. You never started trying, man. This is just all confusing to me. in the preview, it looked like Zach and Michaela hold. I'm like, y'all should have a goddamn restraining orders. Why are y'all fucking with each other? And Michaela said she just wants him to know how much she loves him. And I'm like, yeah. If Michaela didn't love Zach, there's no way he could piss her off that much. People you don't care about can't piss you off like that. So she has feelings for him. That's why she gets so fucking angry at him. Shit. Because she cares. Somebody you don't care about can't make you mad. Not like that. Not like that. At least in my experience, people who love you or who you love can really, really piss you off by doing shit to you. But those are my thoughts. Now, what are yours? Make sure you like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I would love to hear from you. And hey, man, I'll see you next time, yo. Peace.